Welcome back to AI for Real Estate. What we're building today is an AI assistant that you can email once you've got a client under contract, and it will take your email, pull out all the info it needs, and set up a couple different transaction management boards within Trello so that then we can automate emails, automate reminders, anything you want to do in here. So for example, here we've got a buyer under contract, automatically pulls out all the deadlines, creates a list for each, and then a couple of reminders on each. The nice thing about Trello is that we can set deadlines for each individual task, and then if we have not marked them as complete, then Trello will shoot us an email the day before and say, hey, this deadline's coming up, this card is not complete, here's everything you know or everything you need to know that's coming up tomorrow. So Trello is great for transaction management in that capacity. You can build all this out for yourself, make sure all of your clients are getting the exact same high level of service on every single transaction. So the way this works, we'll just take it from the top. We've got our AI assistant. You send in an email, and the nice thing about it being AI is we don't have to do any special formatting. I just need to make sure it's got the name, the property address, and all the deadlines, and an email so it knows where to send stuff. But beyond that, you can do it however you want. So you can see I've got seller disclosure deadline. I just said SD, due diligence deadline is DD, financing and appraisal deadline, settlement deadline, and even the dates are all formatted differently. So we've got, these two are formatted pretty. That's February 11th. This just says on the 18th. AI will be able to parse all of that and put it together for us. This is just what those emails look like by default. Again, I'll show you how to customize everything once we get in there. And one more reminder, if you're not already in the Skool community, I'll link that below this video. Jump into there for all the blueprints so you don't have to also spend hours building this out. You can see that just triggered as we sent that email. So jump in the Skool community. You can download all these blueprints, put them in your account for free, and have the same AI assistant working for you. So let's jump back to Trello and let's see what it made. Okay, so now we've got this custom transaction board. So it says this is due today. Yep, today's the 29th, so that one is marked in yellow. It's got all of these default reminders in here. We can customize, we can change dates if we need to, push that back and save. And then let's jump into our master board. Okay, and then we've got Sarah here. So if we wanted to send an email about the seller disclosure reminder, we drop it here. It's got the transaction type as a seller, which is correct. That's awesome. And then this way we can just see all of our multiple transactions at a glance and kind of manage all of that from one view so it doesn't get too messy. So let's jump into actually building this. There's 3 things you'll need to set this up. First, you'll need an account on make.com. That is free. The only thing with a free account is you're capped at 1,000 operations per month, which for what we're doing here should be plenty. And if you do decide to upgrade at any point, it's only $10 a month. So set up a make.com account. Next, you'll need a Trello account. Trello, for what we're doing here, some of the things we're building out here, you do need a paid Trello account. Once you set this up, it offers you a 14-day free trial. It'll be somewhere over here. So you can do a 14-day free trial without putting in any credit card info. Set that up, and if it's valuable enough, you can upgrade to the paid account, which I think is only like $6 a month. So if it's valuable enough, I highly recommend getting a paid Trello account. And then last, as always, a ChatGPT account. Highly recommend setting up a paid account, but for what we're doing, depending on how much you use this, you can use a free account. If you're doing a lot of volume, it will cap you and say, hey, you need a ChatGPT premium account to continue using this many tokens. If you don't already have a ChatGPT Pro account for $20 a month. One of the things I really like is that you've got unlimited usage, and then 2, you've got a much larger memory. So it can say, hey, I know this person's a real estate agent from our past chats. I know they've worked on this and they've told me this, and this is what I know about their business and what they like to do and how they like to sound. And that way, when you're messaging with it, it gives much more customized responses based on what it knows about you, which you may or may not like, but in a business context, it helps a lot. So those are the 3 we need. All of this, at least for setup, you can do for free. So set up a free Trello account with a free trial, a free ChatGPT account, and a free Make account. And then one more reminder that the blueprints I'll be showing you next will be here in the Skool Community. So jump in and download those, and then let's start building this. So first, here on the left, I just jumped into scenarios on make.com, and then we're going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it Trello Transaction Management, and then we can keep all our stuff organized in here. In here, we'll create a new scenario, and instead of building anything, we're going to drop down to these 3 dots and import a blueprint. And let's grab this one first. So this is create the master board. So what this does is it just creates this board for you, and this is what everything else will reference. So that way, when you have a new client under contract, it'll add them as a card to this specific board. And then our email automations will also reference this. So let's align that. One other thing that will make this a lot easier for you, there's this Chrome extension called Make DevTool. So let's go to Chrome. So if you go to the Chrome web store, you can search for extensions. Just search Make DevTool. And what this does is it lets us add your account to every module all at once, instead of you having to click on each module, choose an account, click here, save. So you can see this would take a ton of time, especially when we get to some of the bigger ones like this thing. That'll take you all day to assign your account to everything. So if we jump into here, and then hopefully you're in Chrome. If not, pause this, switch over into Chrome. It will be worth it just for this. So I'm on Mac. If you're on Windows, let me pause and get you the... Okay, if you're on Windows, you'll hit F12 on your keyboard or Control-Shift-I. I'm on Mac, so I'll hit Command-Option-I. And then this opens up our developer tools. Down on the bottom, you'll have Make. So after you've installed this Chrome extension, you've got this Make option down here. And then we're going to come into Scenario Debugger. And we are looking for... Tools is what we want. Tools here, and then we'll click Swap Connection. So the source module, we'll want to connect this first module to your Trello account. And then we'll come in here. Let's see, Create Board 4 is the name of that. And then target module, we'll leave blank, and it will automatically fill it on everything. So it says Run Completed. Now we can jump into here, and you can see all of those have been linked with the new Trello account. So now we've got this. This is just a single use. So click Run once. This will run through the whole chain, and it will add that master board to your Trello account. And I'll save these changes. So that's not something you want to set up to run on a timer. That's something we only need to do once. So run that, and then just make sure it's switched off. Next, we will create our next scenario. So let's import a blueprint. This one will be the client under contract. So this is the main, kind of the brain of the assistant. So this is what receives the emails, feeds it to AI, pulls out all the data we need to set up all of the other stuff within Trello. So again, we will connect this one account to our Trello. We'll click Save, and then we'll open up our developer tools again, come down to Tools, Swap Connection. And this first one is New Client Board 2. Oh, sorry, Create a Board 2. That's what we want. Then we'll click Run. And let's just grab a couple of these to confirm. Okay, awesome. So now all of those Trello modules have been linked with our account. I can X back out of this. And then you'll also want to connect ChatGPT. So you'll click Create a Connection, and it will ask you for an API key. Again, you can find that at platform. Let's see, platform.openai.com. If you're logged in, let me log in just to show you where to find this quick. Continue. Let's see. How young can I be? 2006. That's crazy. 2006 is 19 this year. Okay. I guess I'll do this because this will probably be the same screen that you're getting if you're just barely setting up a ChatGPT account. I'll invite my team later. Generate API key. That's what we want to do. So then you've got this API key. You'll click copy, and we'll jump back into here, and then you will paste that API key here and click Save. That's all you need to do to connect ChatGPT. I'm going to get an error because I'm not going to run that one. So paste your API key into there, and then the last thing we'll need to update is this mail hook. So you'll add a new mail hook. You can name it whatever you want, or just leave the default name, and then copy this address to your clipboard. So this is something you'll want to save as a contact within your email. So the way I do that is I send an email to it. I'll just say test email because this isn't receiving anything yet. I'll send that. And then if I jump in my sent mail, I can find this, click this drop down arrow, and then it will let me add this to my contacts. So then I can click add to contacts, edit, and name this under contract AI assistant. Save. So that way when I'm writing a new email, I can just type, I've got a couple of these, under contract AI assistant, click that, and then we can send over the info. Or you can just copy this and paste it here and send an email every time, whatever works for you. So we've got that. And now we've got all this. We'll click save. Webhook is not empty. Oh, I hadn't saved it. I'll click save here, save here. And okay, I guess I will add an API key here so it will let me save. And I think I pasted the wrong thing. Let's copy this again. Paste, save. Okay, there we go. So let's make sure it's got the prompt saved in here. Okay, good. So it's got the full prompt we need. This just tells it how to output it so we can use it in the rest of the scenario. And I will save this, and then we can jump back out. Okay, and then the last things we need to do to get this working are, we'll set up another scenario, import. So we've set up the master board, we've set up, the brain of our AI assistant, and then we just need to do these four, auto emailers. So what these do, these are the modules that watch for when we move a transaction to each of these. So we have to do one for each list. We can say, hey, watch this list specifically. When a card is moved here, read the card and send this specific email. So let's start with the seller disclosure. Open that. Okay. And this one, you won't need to use the developer tools just because there's, only 5 modules in total. So yeah, just click here, choose your account, make sure you're all linked up. And then board, you will, so if you've run our past one, let me jump back here to show you. Save changes. Okay, this isn't going to let me save, so I'll discard this and then we'll come back to it. So let's run this just so we're all on the same page. Okay, awesome. So then if I jump back in Trello, I now have this master transaction board, and you can rename it in here. So you can see I've named it Jake Master Transaction Board. Throw your own name in there, unless your name is also Jake. That's great. So we've got that. I'll jump back out, and then we can create our email automations. So import here, choose file, seller disclosure, save. Okay, and then this will link it to our Trello account. The board will be the master transaction board, and the list will be the seller disclosure email. Save. Then this, we should just link the account. Don't need to do anything else. This will link our same account. And all this is doing is it's taking the date. So you can see, let me jump into here. You can see how the dates are formatted on here. This is the specific format that Trello needs to be able to read the dates. But it feels weird if you email this to a client and say, hey, your deadline is coming up on 2025-1-30. So all we're doing here is converting that into, January 30th or February 25th. So it's in a more readable format. Okay, and then we've got our filters set up. So this says if it's a buyer, we will send them this email. If it's a seller, we will send them this version of the email. You'll also want to create a connection up here. So sign in with Google, or if you're not using Gmail, let me show you how to do this. We'll just add a module, Outlook, and create and send a message. So if you're using Outlook, you'll just swap out this module, click create a connection, that'll have you log in, and then you can just copy and paste all this stuff. So you can copy this as the email address, paste it in here. If you're not using Gmail or Outlook, you are still covered because we've got, email, send an email. So this is just the generic email connection. This will work with any type of email. So Outlook, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, whatever you've got, this email module will work. So just create a connection, log into whatever your email is, and then copy and paste all of this. And this is where you will want to customize. You can tell I kind of did minimal effort into this, just assuming that you would want to change it and customize it to your business and your clients. Get a message in here that you're comfortable with. So if we expand this, you can read it. And I do have it formatted in HTML. So all that means is, I was dragging this around, so it sent me a bunch of copies. All this means is that it's formatted pretty like this. So it's got the box, it's got some of the text is a header text, some of it is bold. It's got the listed items and then a link to, really all that does is send you an email as long as you put your email in here. Anyways, so customize this as you like. If you want, you can just go to ChatGPT and say, write this email in HTML format, and then just paste in your own message, and it will add all these tags and basically make it pretty for you. The other thing you can do if you're not sure, let me shoot. I'll delete that. Okay, we're back. So ChatGPT can kind of be scary. I'm just going to say, write me an email in HTML format reminding a home buyer about their upcoming settlement deadline. Okay, so it gives you this whole HTML format. If you have no idea what's going on here, that is totally fine because we can go to HTML tester, and there's several different sites that do this. So just Google HTML tester and then we can copy and paste it into here. Let's drag that over to here and we'll click run. All right, maybe don't actually use this website. HTML checker, we'll try this. No, that's not what we want either. Okay, that's what we want. So html.onlineviewer.net, this one works well. That one's still running, so I'll close that. So this just shows exactly what your client is going to see. So you can see it has put this in red. Oh, and it looks like I copied the message before ChatGPT was done. So let me paste the full message. Okay, so yeah, honestly, this formatting-wise looks better than this one in my opinion. So you can play around with this. You can change background colors. These are all in hexadecimal. So X color picker. You can do this. Pick out whatever color you want and plop that down for any of these. That looks terrible. Don't do that one. But just so you get a feel for this, you can plug it in something like this, customize it, make it look as pretty as you want, or you can totally strip out the HTML and just type whatever message you want. So totally up to you. Lots of ways to customize this. You will want, once we've got all of these in here, and this is not going to let me save again, discard changes. So once you've got all 4 of these scenarios in, so import, we've got the seller disclosures, due diligence, financing and appraisal, and the settlement. So once you've got all of these in and set up and connected, you will want to put these on a timer. Let me resync all of this so I can show you what this is going to ask for. Okay, so one thing that came up as I was trying to set this up quick is this specific error. It says it's not possible to use restricted scopes with customer Gmail accounts. So if you're getting that same error, jump in the Skool community. I'm going to make a separate video on how to fix that. It really just takes like 5 minutes, but it's a little out of the scope of this video. So I'll make a separate video. I'll put a whole error section in Skool. You can jump in there and fix that quick. So for the sake of what we're doing here, I'm just going to delete these modules so it will let me save. Okay, so you can set the runtime for this. So you can say I want it to run every day at, I don't know, maybe 4:30 p.m. And so then as long as you have moved your card before 4:30 p.m., it will send out that email right at 4:30. So depending on how you want to do that, there's lots of ways to customize this. You can do advanced settings and say, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I guess with this trigger, all we can do is say what time we want it to run at. Or you can say on specific days of the week, like I don't want to send any emails on Saturdays. So we can say Monday, Tuesday. So we can say weekdays only at 4:30 p.m. If it falls on a Saturday, it will wait till Monday at 4:30 p.m. to send. So there's a couple ways you can customize that. I'll leave that up to you, how you set that up. But one thing to keep in mind, let me jump back to Make. So one thing to be aware of is that we've got that 1,000 operation cap. So if you're setting this to run, every hour or every 15 minutes, every time that triggers, that uses one automation. So each of these would be an automation. One operation. If we click Explain Flow, it shows how many operations are used in basically each time this runs. So it will run this once every time that timer comes up. So if it says daily at 4:30 p.m., it will basically check Trello and say, is there a new card on this list? And that's one operation. If there's nothing there, it won't do anything else. If it finds a card, then it will use 1, 2, 3, and the email would be 4. So 4 operations when it finds a card. So not a lot, 4 out of 1,000. But it's something to be aware of if you have this on a much shorter timer. So if you say every 15 minutes, which for some reason is the default, that adds up quick. Let's see, 24 times 60, 1440 divided by 15. So yeah, you'd be using 96 operations a day times 30. Yeah, so just checking the lists for this one automation would run out of all your operations within like a week if you had it set on a 15-minute timer. So either upgrade to a pro plan on Make for $10 a month, or I would recommend just setting this daily to a time that works for you. Save changes, and we'll back out to here. Okay, and then if you wanted to customize this further, let me jump into my primary account. Let's see. So let's duplicate one of these. I'll say settlement. So we'll just click clone, and I'll change it. So let's say post closing auto email, and we'll click save. And then what you can do is within your master transaction board, let's just add another list. So I'm going to copy this so I can keep the formatting. We'll say send post closing email. I don't know what emoji works for that. That's a good one. Post closing email. We'll add that list. Okay, so once you've added whatever new list you want to have, and we've duplicated one of these auto email ones, it should have all the same connections already because it'll be from your account. The only thing we're changing is we open up this first module, come down to list, and we'll select this post-closing email. And then all you'll want to do is customize these emails. So we'll say congrats on the closing. And then, so whatever you want to do, this is just showing you how to set that up quick. So then you would do that same thing down here. You'll want to change the subject line and the content for each of these, and then you're all set up. So it's an easy way to add additional lists here, automate the emails for it, and have it just work with your system. So hopefully this makes sense. I know it can be super overwhelming. Make.com is pretty user-friendly, and our Skool community is a great place to ask questions if you're bumping into issues, or if you have that error connecting to Gmail, I'll fix that in there. So jump in there. Let me know what else you'd like to see, what problems you want to solve with automations, just the best things to take off your plate. whether or not that's working with clients or generating leads, whatever it may be. So again, the link for the Skool Community will be right below this video. And if you're like me and you watch the whole video first before you jump in and start building, don't forget to download all of the blueprints before you get started. And then one last thing, little sneak peek at what we're doing next. We'll be building an email brain. What it is an AI system that goes through all of your sent emails, so it understands exactly your voice, how you write, your vocabulary, a lot of your answers to common questions, just so much of the info that you have from your own sent emails. We plug that into a brain that we basically connect into this program. And then what it does is it will sit and watch your, in my case, Gmail, but whatever email account you've got, it will watch for new emails. It will search the brain, say, hey, have we ever read an email like this? Have we received something similar that Jake has responded to? And then it will pull out, 7 or 10 of the closest emails and then say, based on these, what's the proper response? What's the thing Jake is most likely to say? It will create a draft in your email. And then I can jump into my email account and have the draft written out. It's got my email signature. It's got exactly what it expects me to say, basically. And then I can just go in and make a couple tweaks and hit send. So I've been using this for a couple weeks. It continues to read all of my sent emails and train itself to get better and more accurate. I've noticed tons of improvements even just within the last week of using it. So this is a super cool build. Jump in the Skool Community so you've got access to this. This one is luckily just a 3-part system, not a 6 or 7-part system like today, but it will still be super cool. So join us in Skool to check that one out.